All right. Hello, this is Nathan Zimnoch. This is Web Design Class 44 with Professor Oaks, and I created a .NET shop. All right, first, this is my entity framework. These are all the tables that I've created in my database. I actually did not need to know, or I did not know that did not need all of these, but I created them at the beginning, and this is what it looks like momentarily. So first, this is my home page. I have navigation at the top left. I have a nice little header. It says welcome to my sports shop. I have a nice picture of the soccer ball. And then at the bottom right, I have the code behind of the sitemap that directs the navigation. And also, I have themes, and I have 4 themes. So this is the HTML behind my master page. I'm implementing the style sheet that I created, and also I'm running a class from the style sheet, and this runs one of my themes. And then also I have the implementation of the navigation using a repeater. This is the style sheet. On the left, this is the style that I have connected with the navigation bar that I have itself. It's a little custom made. And on the right are the classes I have created for different themes that I could be implementing. All right, moving on, this is my login page. On the right here, I have fields that have input validation connected with them, and on the bottom, I have the HTML of the required field validator and the error message that will show up with no information in those text fields. And again, with the login page, I have a little data table I created from database information and an AJAX call. Both of these were created so that if in the future I needed to get information from the database to show from users to show on this screen at all, it can be done, and the Ajax is actually done without even having to load the page. And then on the right, I also have a submit button with information in the text fields that will be inserted into the database. And on the bottom left is also the JavaScript code for Ajax. And then again with the Ajax, with the handler, I am using a Sprock, and this is just a simple Sprock that I created with information that I knew was in the database, and it's just selecting a name from users where the name equals Nate that I already have in the database just to show that it works. And then I created a function that runs an SQL Sprock, the Sprock that I created, and then inserts the name from the database into a string that I could use. And then I use the function and call p.name equal that function, and then I run the Ajax call, which back here runs Nate. All right, and then this is the submit button, which instead of using a Sprock this time, I made a query that is just written out in a string, just insert into users the information that I inputted from the text boxes. The name is text box 1, the email is text box 3, and the age is text box 2 value. Since age is an integer, not a string, it's dot value instead of dot text. And then also I ran a try catch around that and made sure I closed the connections. And then on the right is the users table that I've created, and from all these sample names that I have put in, showing that it does work. All right, and then here is my next page, it's my shop page. I have a data table that was created from information in the database that is pre-filled just by using the simple wizard that is built into it and running a query to input all the information into the data table itself. It even includes the categories price, image, and item description. The image would not show right away. I tried many different file names. It just would not show. And that would be something that would be implemented in the project going further on. And then I have 4 add buttons. The top one uses a cookie to save information, and then the bottom 3 use sessions. and this would be implemented with my cart page. All right, so this was by simply selecting add, it will redirect me to the cart page and pull up the data table with the Ronaldo jersey that is created from a query call using the cookie or the session that I selected. And then if I select checkout, it'll give me the price of the item, and then select the different item just redirects me back to the shop page. All right, so here is the shop and the cart backend and how they're interconnected. So I have two, I'm showing a session and a cookie. The first one, Ronaldo, is a cookie. When I select that button, it puts the information from the data cell into the cookie to save that information. And then that's in the shop page backend, and in the cart page backend, if there is information in that cookie, then I run the session.add name Ronaldo jersey, which is a query that I created by calling a session, which will input the Ronaldo jersey into the query and then give me the information from that specific tuple into the data table to create the product in the cart. All right, moving on. This is my FAQ page. I have a nice little user control using globalization to show that my site does support globalization. Over here, this is what frequently asked questions means in German, as I have right here. I did a little snippet of label FAQ, and that's frequently asked questions in German. And then this is my user control calling the resources file that I created, and then it's also using the UI culture equals DE, which uses German. And then I also created a nice little label with a nice answer to show how a FAQ page, a normal FAQ page, would be set up. Simple, very simple to implement. And then I have two graphs, a price bar graph and a price line graph, both implemented using data from the database. And then right here, just to show it is there, is a simple log file that I created. I created this very early on to show that my presentation or my project does support a log file itself. All right, and then moving on is I'm going to show off the site a little bit. I'm going to run this. All right, so it loads right into my home page, and this is a nice label and a nice picture. And then here's my theme in the background. I'll show that off at the end. And then if I go to cart, there's nothing there. The button is there to check out, and to redirect back to shop is there, but there are no items in the cart at the moment. If I go to shop, this is created from the database, this data table itself, and that is shown right in here. So the items, the Ronaldo jersey, Joe Flacco jersey, LeBron jersey, Cal Ripken jersey, were all implemented and put in here. If I select add, it redirects me right back to the cart, gives me the name, the price, the description, and if I click checkout, it gives me the price, and I can select a different item. I can go back to get the Joe Flacco jersey, get the price, LeBron jersey, the Cal Ripken jersey, and so on. All right, moving on to the login page. So here is the little data table that I created just to show that one of these tables could be created using the database itself. If I click update Ajax, it's calling that Sprock that calls for my name Nate and then outputs the information from that. All right, and let's put a sample name. Let's do Jeremy. Let's do Jeremy is 22. And let's do Jeremy at towson.edu. And then select submit. All right, and we'll get rid of these just to show that the input validation is there. You must enter a name, you must enter an email. All right, let's go back here to show that it did show up. Let's exit out of this and create a new one. View data. And there it is. Jeremy is 22. And there is his email address that we just inserted into the database. All right, and last is my FAQ page. This is the label showing that it's showing FAQ in German, and this is outputting from the user control that I created. This is a simple label. And then this is a price bar graph and a price line graph, and they're both using information from the database. I want to show that as well. Solution Explorer. All right, and here they are. If I select here, configure data source, they're both configured the same way. This is my connection to my database. Click next. And as you can see here, it's from the table items. I have different tables in here. And then it's just selecting the name and the price. And then it is using a query to select those. And you can even test the query if you'd like. All right. Now, all that said, everything working, there were a few difficulties with the project. One of the difficulties that I ran into were getting multiple items to show in the cart itself. I believe has something to do with the page state and saving it. Maybe a class implementation could be used. I tried all these and I couldn't get it to working, but with a few more hours I definitely could have. Getting web services to work in my project and a reasoning behind their implementation that could have been used in my project, and implementing a very simple error log that could have said, hey, this ran perfectly, or this were your errors, or anything of that nature. All right, and that is it for my presentation. If you have any questions, since this is a video, feel free to email me. And thank you for your time. Have a good day.